This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 552, Story Time with Uncle Sal.
Welcome to Comic Geek Speak. I'm Brian Deemer.
I'm Adam Murdo.
I'm Shane Kelly.
I'm Brian Chrisman.
I'm Peter Rios.
And this episode of Comic Geek Speak is sponsored by Library Binding. What the hell is Library Binding, you say? Well, let me tell you. It's, as the name suggests, it's a binding company, and what they'll do is they'll actually bind your comics for you, so you can ship off a whole pile of comics and have them turned into a nice one-of-a-kind hardcover for only $15. Some competitors will charge as much as $50 just to get in on the ground floor, and these are only $15, and this is a real price. This is what I've paid personally for all of my binding. I never paid a penny more than that. And so you can take your favorite runs that aren't available as collections, or you have the issues you don't want to buy the trade, or the trade's missing issues that you want to put in, or the issues are in a different order than you'd like, or whatever. So you put it exactly the way you want, ship it off to them, and they ship you back a beautiful hardcover. It's awesome. They're really nice people. The service there is excellent. You email the owner, and he emails you back generally within like an hour or so. I mean, it's amazing, top quality service. So just go to librarybinding.com and check out go to thecomicforums.com and check out the binding forum, where you'll find pictures of what people have done. And it's a whole discussion on how things should be bound and what should be bound together. And it's really awesome. So check it out, librarybinding.com.
Matt could almost start his own podcast.
He should.
You're not kidding.
So this episode, like we said, story time with Uncle Sal. Real quick, just a reminder to pay attention to the forum, or if I put out an announcement about our Secret Invasion issue 8 live call-in show this Sunday night, December 7th. Yes. So I just take a listen for that, because this will be our last episode of the week of a round normal CGS episode. So we won't have any more of those. But
I forgot something.
Yeah.
I want to give a real quick thanks. I got a package in the mail the other day. I'm like, okay, I wasn't expecting a package. What is this? And it's from Scott Bradley from Resolution Comics. And he wanted to thank me for having the party at my house before the Super Show and for the Super Show and everything. Completely unsolicited, he sent me an original Guy Davis page from it's from Sandman Mystery Theater.
Wow.
From one of the issues 67, I think I want to say. I forget. I was like, because he knows that I love Guy Davis.
Sure,
I mean, he's one of my favorite artists, period. And I was just like, are you kidding me? It just showed up out of nowhere.
Wow.
I'm like, well, I had a party, so wow. So a big thanks to Scott. I can't even. I'm still flabbergasted by the whole thing.
Kid Benicio on the forum.
Yes, Kid Benicio. I really, really appreciate it. It's a beautiful page, and I'm indebted to you, sir.
Cool. Great. Put your earmuffs on right away, because it's like right out of the gate.
Yeah,
There's
it's
some
the ground
craziness.
running.
Yeah. But really enjoyable. We talk about conventions. We talk about conventions next year. Some interesting stuff about next year's conventions. Luca, Alex Ross,
Construction workers,
babies, Buzz,
Angel Medina,
a whole bunch of other goodness.
Yeah,
just sit
sports.
back and let
Little bit of
bullshit
sports.
flow.
As Murd said. Here we go.
All right, can you still hear us?
Yep.
All right, we're recording. Welcome
Some
back.
fucking friends you are.
Come on.
Sitting here scratching my ass for half an hour going, what happened to these guys? They got me on like the bitch list now.
We're giving you quality porn time. Come on.
And nobody can be without enough of that.
Yeah, but it's too early in the night for, that. You got to go. I'm more of a covert porn guy. You got to go late in the evening when, everybody's asleep. Otherwise,
I do understand that as well.
Yeah, you got to have a selected amount of hours for that kind of stuff.
Wait till the kids go to bed. You start hearing them thump across the floor. Go, oh shit! Package up the computer.
Oh yeah, man. I've got that hearing, it's like if I'm like, I surround the doors and the windows with like twigs. If anybody snaps a twig, man, it's like you come in my room and everything on my screen is like, not even PG. It's like G-rated shit. It's all business and it's all emails and nothing. You'd never guess for a million years that I'm the biggest pervert there is.
But the minute they turn around and start walking the other way,
Yeah, it all
then
pops
comes
up
back
real
out.
fast. I got
That's
like
right.
2 screens. I just flip
Yep.
it over.
That's right.
You know, I keep one. It's like, you know, one is just a decoy, and then the other one is just a real porn.
It's amazing on the toggle switch.
That's it. It's just you're really looking at a reflection more than anything.
Well, I found out some pictures behind where my computer sits. My wife's computer desk is across from me, so if she looks through the hole, she can look in the reflection. So now I have to go on the couch if I want to
Well,
do
see,
that secretly.
I have no delusions that women are a lot more perverted than we are. I mean, I was a bartender for 12 years, and I could hear conversations that women thought I couldn't hear, and that's all women talk about at bars is cock. That's it. You know, we talk about comics and cars and sports and bullshit. Women, they get together. Trust me, that's not what they're talking about. They're much more devious than we give them credit for. Well, not me. I give them a lot of credit for it, so it's all right.
You know what's funny?
I have no delusions that they're talking about sewing. You know.
I was listening to my sister. I'm staying at my sister's house over Thanksgiving, and it was early in the morning, and she was talking to one of her friends on the phone about some guy that the girl on the phone really liked, and but he was doing certain things wrong, you know.
Yeah.
You know, but
that's all they talk about.
right.
I mean, come on.
But the thing that my sister said, to go back to what you're saying, she said, "Well, you know, sometimes, you know, having money, good looks, and a big cock is not enough, you know." And,
Right.
And the girl on the phone agreed. She goes, "Yeah, I guess I will have to give that up." And I was like, "See."
See, I never have to worry about that. You know, I got the standard Army issue when it comes to cock. So, you know, I pass no delusions.
GI.
But I'm happy with it because I got the one that they were handing out, like the standard Army issue dick. That's what you need, you know. Because some guys, they get cute and they talk, but I got the beer can going on. I got a lot of girth.
Oh.
When you gain weight, you get girth. That's the only advantage of gaining weight. Trust me.
My God.
Things
So
I did
no
not know I would
delusions.
learn
Some guys,
tonight.
you know, I got this, I got that. See, not me. You got to be happy with what you got sometimes. Otherwise, they get that taken away. You know, so it's like the one that G.I. Joe had. That's the one I got, the standard one. You know, like they were giving out at the door, like the blankets they give the soldiers. That's the one I got right there.
Yo, Joe.
So
No complaints.
how was Italy?
Yeah.
Italy was nice, man. It was really, really bad weather-wise. It was absolutely would not stop raining for 3 days, but I mean just torrential rains. But you know, it was the attendance was, believe it or not, was higher than it was last year. It was like over 120,000 this year at Luca. So
That's
it was
awesome.
it was a good show, man. It was nice to see. They're inviting more Americans. JR was there, and Steve Rude was there. Well, you know, at least in spirit.
Oh,
and Carlos Pachenko was there, and I'm trying to think. There was a couple other, you know, Americans that were invited guests. But and then I was set up next to Samoan, so it was nice. It's a good turnout. I mean, it's one of those shows that I do it and I bring it out. You know, I bring out all the Alex Ross, Bill Sienkiewicz stuff. But I actually do much better with Atomica than I do with the other stuff. Believe it or not. So. Because, you know, I sold every copy that I brought of Atomica, and, of course, if you're sitting there and you're doing sketches, then they love you even more, so... It's one of those shows that I really enjoy doing. It's a colossal pain in the ass, but I love doing it.
What are they just becoming more aware of certain American artists?
No,
or?
they just like, I don't know, Luca, comic festivals in Europe, they really like to sit and bullshit with the artists, and they like to watch guys draw, and of course they want free, you know, they expect free sketches, which is fine. You know, I do free sketches for everybody, but the original stuff, it's not as big a market. It's more other dealers that are buying stuff than actual fans that are there to buy, you know, paintings and things like that. But I bring it out because it's a huge draw. But I usually bring Atomica just because, you know, helps me keep my sanity. But with Luca, I brought 4 or 5, you know, crates of trades and, you know, new issues, and I went through them like water. It was great.
Wow.
I wish I would have brought more.
Wow.
So yeah, it's nice, and you know, and it's by the time I rent a hotel, I mean, I can rent a house. So next year I'm going to rent a house there because I looked into it, and we stayed at what was supposed to be the nicest hotel in the middle of town, and they're completely fucking worthless when it comes to hotels in Italy. I got to tell you, you know, they've got that siesta mentality over there, man. Where if you ask them for a glass of water, they get pissed off at you. So, I mean, honest to God, man, it's all just you ask him something and you get the long, what do you want again? You know, like you spoiled Americans. What are you looking for? And I'm like, my key. You know, I need my key. Can I have my key? And me and Simone got in like shouting matches with the guys at the front desk. I can't tell you how many times.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I mean like shouting, like we were yelling at each other, like we knew each other, forever. And little things, they're just way behind, man. They have absolutely no, like they don't have a bellman, they don't have a cart, they don't have internet, they don't have room service, they don't have anything. It's just like a room with a lock. That's it, and you're supposed to be happy.
Oh,
and and it's expensive. So I looked into renting a place because there's a lot of agencies that'll rent you apartments and rent you like these huge houses. There's 3 bedrooms and 3 bathroom and enough for 8 people for less money than hotels. So
wow. We had no.
If you guys are in Tuscany and you want to crash, you're welcome to crash.
Oh, Sal, believe me, Tasha and I want to go back there so badly, and that's just such a great opportunity. Now, what do? Do they put like tents up in all the piazzas and stuff? Is that how it works?
Yeah, it's one of those things every year that I plead with them. I go, guys, you got to leave it in the village. You have to leave it in the village because I don't know if you've ever done it when it's not in the village, but it's terrible. They have this huge soccer stadium across the street, and in the past they've had it in the parking lot of the soccer stadium where they just lay lumber and put up, and it's terrible. It's like fucking Woodstock. It's mud and it's porta potties and it's just it's just shit. And then when they move it inside the village, I mean, you saw how it is. It's tents and it's you can go to the restaurants and you're close to everything, and the train station is right there. So it was bigger this year than it was last year, and I couldn't think it could break 100,000, but it was well over 100,000 this year. And it was raining. So I thought, no way were they going to come out in the rain, but it turned out to be a really, really good show.
That's a bigger number than most cons here in the States, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. Because it's hard to explain. I mean, it's some numbers are skewed, like Wizard and other cons that'll kind of lie about their numbers. But with Luca, if you look at it on a map, it's so close in proximity to a lot of other countries that people just take the train in for the weekend. And you got a lot of kids. You got a ton of manga, which a lot of the artists hate it. They're not big on it, but the kids go crazy for it. And then the town itself does a lot of cool stuff with concerts and festivals and all kinds of shit. Which and art exhibits. I never got a chance to see a lot of that stuff, but if you walk around the village, there's just so much going on that they turn it into a big party. Especially all the kids in Italy just jump on the train and hang out in Lucca, or even if they want to go for the day, there's a lot of cool shit to do. So I highly recommend it for anybody who's thinking about doing a European show.
Cool.
More than Angoulême. Angoulême, you freeze your ass off in Angoulême. No, Angoulême is great, but it's such a fucking pain in the ass. And the French always have train strikes that weekend because they know that that's when everybody's in Angoulême. And the French are great. But they've got like one train all day that goes to Angoulême, and you got to pile on, like it's fucking Calcutta slums, when you get on the train and you're hanging on outside, and the bathroom overflows, and it's just, and then you get to this village and there's like 2 hotels in the whole village, so you wind up staying, 30 miles outside of Angoulême and have to commute in and out every day. And it's a nice show because it's got a lot of history to it. But if I have to pick between the two, Lucca is much easier, and there's much more to do in the village. And it's just I'm biased because I'm Italian, but you could fly into Pisa, and you're like 20-minute car ride from Pisa to Lucca. So and Brian was there; he'll tell you how nice the people are, and
beautiful. It's the most beautiful place I've been to yet in my life.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nice. It really is. It's not for everybody because it's not like most American shows. You got to kind of jump from tent to tent because they got the tents spread out all over the village. But in a lot of ways, that's cool because it forces you to see the village that way.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going. I already signed up for next year, so I'm going back next year.
Yeah, Tasha and I have a week of vacation that's unclaimed for next year so far, and we were discussing maybe we should just not book anything and just see what happens. And then I hear you talk about it. It's like, damn it, I know I'm just going to end up back in Italy.
Well, I got nothing else going. Alex is always like, why are you going to Italy? It's like, I got nothing else show-wise that time of the year. My wife's always pissed that I'm not here for Halloween. But it's just a bunch of fucking freeloaders in my neighborhood knocking on doors looking for candy. And what's with this no costume bullshit? You know, I get teenagers coming to the door with no costumes.
That's why I didn't hand out this year.
And I'm like, hey guys,
they're not even trying.
If you don't have a costume, it's just begging at that point.
That's right.
You know, and I'm like, what is this shit with the no costumes? Oh, well, you know. I'm like, no, I ain't giving them any candy. And my wife, oh, come on, they're going to break the windows. I'm like, what do you mean they're going to break the windows? You know, it's not a bunch of zombies outside asking for shit. Just tell them to fuck off. If you're not a kid, you know, and you know they have a costume, come on. You know? So I'm like, I'm not missing anything.
Yeah.
You know, it was interesting this year to see JR was there with his wife, and you know, they try to bring in more Americans, but you know, if they move it out of the village, you know, I'll be heartbroken because it sucks when they move it out of the village. But now the latest scrambling is, and I don't know, guys, to be honest with you, I don't know what to make of any of it with the economy. There's a lot of speculation of what's going on with New York and San Francisco. What's going to happen with those two shows? So,
you know, if they're the same weekend next year, WonderCon.
No, it's just those are the first two shows of the year, pretty much. Is New York in February, and WonderCon is later on, earlier, and I think it's the beginning of April. And you know, I'm just getting a lot of different rumors of you know, one guy says they're having a hard time selling space. The other guys say no, it's business as usual because of the economy. I mean, a lot of companies, the first thing they're going to cut is advertising and trade shows. So I don't know if it's just a lot of, you know, people kind of piling on, but it'll be interesting to see how the New York show does.
Yeah, well, I know that New York still has booths available.
Yeah.
Which is...
But they always did. Last year they had booths available up until the last month. You know, every con does. I mean, the biggest rumor is, well, you know, is Wizard going to be around by next summer? That's the rumor that I heard today, is that they're gonna just pull the plug on all the shows. But you know, fuck, I don't know. Who knows? People have been saying that for the last 5 years.
Well, I mean, it seems like every other month they're laying off someone else.
Yeah. I mean, and I know that New York is not exactly bending over backwards to give away shit this year. I know they're looking for. They just named one of their guests of honor, Neil Adams. Well, Neil Adams is going to go anyway. Neil Adams goes to the National, which is like, you know, in a church basement in New York. He's going to be there. So that's not really a guest. And I know I had a hard time getting anything from them, you know, for Simone and Gabrielle and stuff like that. But now they're coming around a little bit. But they also said that this is the 5th year, and if they're not in the black this year, they're going to probably pull it. But, you know, that's like fucking high school rumors. Everybody talks that shit. I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't believe shit until shit happens. That's my new philosophy. You know, I know that, you know, we gave a lot of money to Obama because Alex is a big Obama guy. So everybody made money, you know, and they still nag me for money. That's the part that kills me. I get a letter from Obama's people almost daily, and I'm like, wait a minute, didn't you guys win? Ain't that shit over with? Okay. Why do you still need money? To help you move? Or I don't understand this shit. You know, from the T-shirts and the lithos and all this stuff that Alex, you know, wanted to do because he's a big Obama guy, and I was glad to see him win. I mean, I'm not super political, but you know, I got tired of old white guys in the White House. But I don't know, man. I'm a little shocked they're still asking for money.
Maybe it's for the 2012 campaign.
Is that what it?
I don't know.
I don't get it. I mean, I can understand you needed money in, you know, the battleground states and all these, you know, all the shit that was going on during the election. But now that it's over, I don't know why you're still nagging me for money.
Oh, the inauguration balls.
Is that what it is? Yeah. I mean, I talked to James, the T-shirt guy, and he's talking about setting up at the inauguration with all the T-shirts and shit. But I think he's having some problems with the permits and stuff.
Dude, I'll work for you for free I'll work for him for free if he does that. I so want to go there.
Yeah, I don't know. I talked, you know, he was him and Chris started emailing me from Amsterdam. We went to Amsterdam last weekend, and I started to get these drunken text messages, the I love yous and all that shit. And I'm like, you guys are in Amsterdam and you're texting me. You know, so you should either be getting high or getting laid, and you're doing neither one. So something wrong with you two hillbillies. I mean, what two hillbillies do you know go to Amsterdam and spend the whole fucking day texting some guinea back in Chicago? Something's wrong with that shit. You know? I told James, I said, James, I'll pay you to go get Chris laid, but I need validation. I'm not going to just believe it. I need to see some pictures, or I need to see something, some real nasty Polaroids, or something, just to go, okay, here you go. Here's the money for the hooker. You know?
A receipt.
Something, yes. I need to see some kind of. I don't want any, physical proof because I'll throw up, but I need something.
Like a penicillin shot receipt or something.
I need to see something. The receipt from the chlamydia clinic or something like that. Okay, there you go. Or like, a couple of crabs in a test tube. Because so those guys went and did that, and he's talking about doing the DC thing, but God, I mean, it's got to be a nightmare permit-wise to try to, set up and sell stuff on the street in Washington, D.C. I'm sure it's a nightmare. So, but he said he's going to do it because, the T-shirt has been selling absolutely insane. The Alex Ross Obama shirt is just crazy.
Well, it's one of the only times that I can really remember that the industry as a whole, not only the T-shirt, but they also did that comics industry for Obama thing, and a lot of creators went out of their way.
Yeah, it was nice to see. I mean, it was one of the few elections in a long time that I saw people really getting excited about it. I don't know how you guys felt about it either way. Oh, yeah. Whether you were McCain or Obama, but Chicago. I mean, being in Chicago, everybody was Obama because he's a big Chicago guy.
Sure.
But Alex went crazy. Alex was like a big Obama supporter. So I said, "All right, man," and. I really, was kind of surprised he got out of the primaries, but then when he did, I thought, okay, I wasn't crazy about the Sarah Palin thing, but hey, what the fuck do I know? I'd give it to her, but that's about it,
You betcha.
I mean, she just reminds me of every one of those annoying skanks I went to high school with. The ones that you go, what? You're going to school where? Oh, shut up. No one cares. That's how,
Speaking of high school, I saw some pictures of you on Facebook.
Oh, come on, guys! I got suckered in. Everybody's like, "Oh, Sal, listen, you got to join a Facebook thing because it's good for comics. There's a lot of networking." Guys, I get nothing but fucking porn invitations on that site. I swear to God,
I haven't gotten a single one.
Skankiest fucking hillbillies with pimples on their ass that you could possibly get pictures from. I get pictures from.
I've never seen any of that.
All the assholes that want to be my friends, I'm like, I know all these assholes anyway. I don't need to join a special site. And they're like, oh, you got to post pictures. And then, people I went to high school with and went to college with start finding me. And I'm like, oh, God, I don't want to talk to these people anymore. Some of them I owe money. I don't want to. Some of them I borrowed their cars and never brought them back. Shit like that. It's like, so I'm like, I'm on this Facebook, and all I get is like nasty, filthy shit from my nephews. If you look who criticizes the pictures most of all, it's my asshole relatives. So, and you guys. But those high school pictures, is that a fun? And everybody just has the same comment. God, Sal, you really got fat. I'm like, oh, thanks. No, I don't care. It's true. But I'm always surprised that they think that I haven't figured it out yet. Really? Oh shit, you're right.
I had no idea.
How the fuck did that get out of hand like that?
So you didn't see? Did your son dress up this year? You weren't there for that?
Yeah. I put a couple on the site. My wife dressed him because she's got to be in order to get the whole because she's the whole Japanese thing. He had two costumes. He had the ninja costume, and then he was Spider-Man was the other costume. So
okay.
I told him, I said, you had to do the ninja thing, right, to perpetuate the whole Japanese. You couldn't dress him as a sushi chef or something, right? He had the ninja. And then she did him as Spider-Man. So it was nice. She sent me the pictures when I was in Italy, and it was funny as shit. So they're on my MySpace page if anybody cares. Cool. Is it MySpace or Facebook I'm on?
Facebook.
What's the difference?
Facebook is much nicer than MySpace.
Yeah, I was gonna say money. MySpace was 5 years ago, and Facebook is today.
Yeah, but it's so much
cleaner.
All
I know is when I was on Facebook, Facebook, it's all college kids, and I felt like an old son of a bitch on there. So I said, I got to get off of here.
That's why I'm on there.
Yeah. Well, you guys are still single and still shaking your ass. See, for me, they send you these. They torment you with, oh, this girl wants to meet you. It's like bullshit.
No, that's MySpace. All those girls that want to meet you. Facebook, I haven't encountered any of that.
Well, you could. Yeah, the good news. At least I found what I like more about Facebook is that you could at least sift out the assholes when they can only go to your page if you would let them be your friend or some bullshit or something like that. So, and I've tried to keep it mostly just comic related stuff, not to be like The View. I don't want to get on there and talk shit about Buzz and Jesse's bald head or any of that shit.
God, that baby picture of you look the same.
Yeah.
That's wow.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
It is the same, pretty much. I still shit my pants. It's been, not much has changed in that regard,
Is that an actual cat, stuffed animal cat on you?
No, that was like a porcelain. The photographer gave that to you, to try to get you to smile. So my mother told me anyway.
Oh.
And how was Thanksgiving for you guys? You guys have a good Thanksgiving, or?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Black Friday, were you guys the guys I saw in line at Best Buy at 4 in the morning, or no?
No way.
Not this year. I was visiting, so I wasn't out. I wasn't on my home turf. But I would have been out. My brother and my father were out, so.
4 in the morning?
No, they went out at 5.
Well, see, what I don't understand is if you got people at 4 in the morning, why don't you just open the doors then? I mean, because at midnight it's technically Friday, so what's the problem? Why make people sit out there and freeze their asses off? I don't understand.
Well, if you just keep pushing it back, if you open the doors at 4, then people will line up at 2, and then if you open the doors at 2, people will line up at midnight, and so when do you call it quits?
Yeah. Well, I think they want to sell TVs, so the guys by me, I don't think they give a shit because. They showed the line by us, man. They do the helicopter shots in the morning, and it was like going around the block, and it was just too damn cold on Friday to even think about it. My wife's like, "Let's go." I'm like, they could give that shit to me for free, and I wouldn't go out on Friday because it was that bad here in Chicago. It was so damn cold, and my mom can't do it anymore, so I took over the Thanksgiving. God help me, the. Tradition of the cooking and all the bullshit, and all my asshole brothers come over, and all my retarded in-laws, and it's a one big clusterfuck Thanksgiving. I got to tell you.
It was at your house.
I mean, it starts with the shopping. You got to spend $300-400 on groceries, and then you got to get up at 4 in the morning and start cooking turkeys and folding chairs and tables, and it's a nightmare.
So was it your house this year?
It was at my house this year, yes.
Yeah.
Which was, it was like fucking Boys Town over here. I was ready to get everybody out. And I got the relatives that don't want to leave. Like it's 11 o'clock before, and you got to start practically vacuuming to get them to leave.
Yeah, my wife's family,
No, they don't want
to
to go. I talk to people that go, hey, what time do your guests leave? They go, about 7. 7? My asshole brothers start with the what movies do you got, and they start going through my shit, and they start, manhandling everything, and I'm trying to get them out, but no, it doesn't happen. So.
Wow.
Yep, got to get the vacuum out.
Yeah, my family.
I start vacuuming. Yeah. Got any more wine? It's like you got to start flicking the lights practically, like you're at the bar. Okay, guys. Can you give me a ride? Because I got one of those older brothers who doesn't drive. Like he's like fucking Jeremiah Johnson or something, where he doesn't drive a car. And I'm always like, Frank, when are you going to get a fucking car, man? And he's just like, well, why should I get a car? Then I have to pay for insurance and all. And oh, you mean like the rest of us jag-offs?
Sounds like me.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you'd think at some point, don't you give in and say, all right, I got to get a car. I can't put up with this shit much more.
When's the last time you had a car, Peter?
Yeah, the last time I had a car was 1999.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, you're a dancer, so I can expect that from you. You just you got the perfect excuse to hit up the the females. Hey, I'm sorry, can I get a ride? And I pawned my car for my tap shoes or some story like that. I'm sure you got one of those, one of those Frank Capra type stories tied into why you don't have a car. My brother's just a jag-off. That's why you don't have a car. And now what I saw today. these fucking commercials with guys giving their wives cars as Christmas gifts.
Yeah, what is that?
Who can do
Who
that?
the fuck do you know, and who are these guys who give their wives cars?
Well, and how would
Because
the wife...
I want to meet the guy and kick the shit out of him because my wife watches it and goes, "Oh, she got a car for Christmas." So now anything I get, I'm a jagoff. I didn't get her a Lexus for Christmas. It's like, guys in porn with big dicks. You want them to die slow, miserable deaths because you go, look at this fucking guy,
Me and my wife look at each other and go, they don't live in the same reality because there's no way that would ever happen.
Well, who
yeah, I don't know. I don't know my entire life, and I know a lot of jagoffs. I've never known anybody that's given their wife a car for Christmas. That's crazy.
Well, how would she not know you're buying a car? Like, she wouldn't notice the massive amount of money missing from the bank account or whatever? I mean, I don't even
that's
get
what
it.
I'm saying. And as a married guy, you know how it is. I mean, it's like there's nothing you can't scratch your ass without your wife knowing about it financially. How am I going to sneak a car through? And anything that they buy for me, I know I have to pay for it anyway. So I'm usually like, oh, well, yeah, I was going to buy that anyway. Okay, no problem.
I just buy my own stuff and give it to
comic
my wife.
shit. Then I go, no. Trust me, don't buy that because you don't know what I want. Let me pick it out.
Yep.
Pants, and Murd, how's your single life going?
I'm not buying any cars.
Well, that's for sure.
I mean, honestly, do you know anybody? I mean, maybe I'm just an asshole, but I don't know anybody that buys their wife cars for Christmas.
Never met anybody who did it. Never.
I'm waiting for the girl who's going to buy me a car.
Well, and then you see these commercials, and you feel like an asshole. You go, God, look at this guy. They make you feel like you're one of those guys like, oh shit, I never buy my wife anything like that. But then I start thinking about it, and I'm like, no, I'm sorry. It's like I never would do it anyway, because then you set a precedent. Then what am I going to get her next year? A plane? Fucking submarine? After 3 years, it's like, oh God, another car? Because that's how it is when you're married.
Unless I was a billionaire and I spent that much money for something and didn't consult my wife first, my ass would be red. I would get beat.
Well, it's like,
not in a good way.
It's one of those things where I just don't get it. I mean, it's like I said, you're making people feel like jagoffs. You try to do something nice, but yet here they got to show this fuckhead, where it's like total propaganda. And I got to talk to the guy who put the creative department who put it together. Those are the guys that need a beating. Those guys. That's where you got to start.
Hey, Sal, one of our listeners knew that you were going to come on today to record, and it kind of goes back to the whole Luca thing. They were asking what you do because they wanted advice on transporting original art, and what do you have? Do you have to insure it? Do you have special cases? Like, how do you go about that?
Well, it depends how much you're going to bring. I mean, I generally do two things. I mean, I learned early on that you're much better off shipping some things ahead to the hotel because it's just too much of a clusterfuck at the airport to bring tons of stuff. But that being said, I always bring the A-list stuff, that being the most expensive stuff, with me in my suitcase. I get the biggest fucking steamer trunk you could find that's legal, and I take it with me. That's the safest way I've found for the expensive stuff. And then, you'll get hit here and there with, they'll charge you $20 or whatever. But trust me, it's much cheaper than if you do FedEx and you ship it through FedEx and you insure it that way. You're going to get hit with a bill you can't believe when your FedEx bill comes. Yeah. So everybody I know that when we do, I even do that way with San Diego. I ship some things, or I ship as much of it as I can through FedEx and through people that I know that are going out there with semis. But I still have to bring the majority with me on the airplane, just to be able to sleep. So, that would be my advice to them. And then, when you're at a show and you got to lug everything, it really does get to be a pain in the ass because that stuff is heavy. When you got to lug it, especially when you're doing certain shows. Like I said, this hotel, these assholes don't have carts. They don't have bellmen. They don't have things to help you ship it out. But the same when you got to ship the stuff home. A lot of foreign countries don't have FedEx pickup the way we do here in the States. So that's why I usually always try to stay at a business hotel versus a hotel that's like a trendy type hotel, like a W or something where there's a pair of tits in the window or something. Those hotels are nice because you save some money, but in the end, when I got a lot of business stuff to do, I need to have like a shipping and receiving department and a business center because then it makes it a lot easier for you.
Don't you worry about the airplane losing your luggage though?
Well, again, that's pretty much that's the only way you're going to cut down. I mean, it's a lot. Even as that's possible, but in the end, the shipping that you get on the airplane is still a lot more. The chance of something happening is a lot less than with FedEx. FedEx, it's got to change hands a lot of times, and I've gotten FedEx stuff that I ship everything in Masonite usually, and that's you could drop that off a building and nothing will happen to it, and I've never had any problems with FedEx, but I've also gotten boxes that look like they got run over by a forklift when you ship it. But for me, I mean, Frank at Aspen and a lot of other dealers that I talk to, we found that's really the only way we can do it is to take it on the airplane. I mean, yeah, there's still a risk, but the only other way is to just put it in the back seat of your car and drive it over. But even then, I know guys that have gotten shit stolen out of their car. I mean, Albert Moy and Anthony Snyder, 2 or 3 other guys have had stuff at shows in their car taken and stolen. So, you do everything you can, but in the end, sometimes that shit's going to happen. There's only so much you can do.
And you just transport them like in those portfolio cases?
In the portfolios, yeah. You get one of those big, my God, they got luggage now that's insane. And you just, you sandwich it between other stuff, usually all the way at the bottom, because that's what, those big ones, that's what the biggest portfolio will fit. Bring the portfolio with you to the luggage place to make sure it fits in there. And then you just put it under your clothes. I mean, with Alex, I usually bring the top 3 portfolios with me, and then the fucking suitcase weighs like 150 pounds. But, it's okay. It gets there.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. All right.
It's not terribly exciting, but, what can I tell you?
Do you bring anything on the plane on your
No, they won't let you
carry-on?
anymore. I know guys that used to do that. Like Frank from Aspen used to bring it right on the plane with him. And then and like Buzz and lots of different guys I know used to say, fuck it, I'm not checking my portfolio. They would bring it with. But since 9/11, if it won't fit in that closet, they won't let you bring it on the airplane. They'll make you check it. They'll catch you at the gate and say, no, you got to check this. Huh. And then in which case, then you're screwed. So, I usually check it with the sky cap, and tip them a little bit to make sure that it winds up in the right, doesn't wind up in, fucking Nawtucket or something. But, no, there's really no tried and true way other than if it's small. If it could fit under my arm, oh, yeah, I'd bring it on with me, sure. Or if it would fit in a shoulder bag. Like if it was like an 11 by 17 portfolio, you could take that with you on the plane. They won't give a shit. These are the bigger size ones. Right. These are the like 25, by 15 portfolios. Those they won't let you bring them on. Yeah. So you gotta say, all right, bite the bullet and put it in your luggage, and then that's all you can do.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Why is this guy saying that he's taking it with him on the plane, or put it in his pocket? Or
well, they're moving, and does it? Some things are going with them, some things are not. Some things that they may fly, and they weren't sure what's the best way to do it. They don't have obviously they don't have a big collection, but
I would say there are ways to definitely avoid nightmares, which is postal services. You think the postal service here is bad? You should see the postal service in foreign countries. Once it crosses the border, that's why. Why do you think so many eBay listings state in capital letters will not deal with international bidders? Because there's so much of a clusterfuck to get stuff through customs because most guys want to try to keep their shipping costs as low as possible, so they use the postal service. Yeah. Which is fine if you're shipping T-shirts or busts or things that are inexpensive. But for my money, it's like don't ever play with the postal service or UPS, or any of those. Just you got to get a reputable carrier that you could ship it and you can have a voice to talk to and insure it. And for my money, I've never had a problem with FedEx. Never. I mean, they'd help you with customs. Because when you want to ship those oversized boxes through customs, you're going to get shit. They're going to stop them and X-ray them and do all kinds of shit. But they're just looking for drugs. So if you just write on there that they're promotional materials and then list exactly what it is, you're fine. It's when you get cute and you don't put anything on there, like some Italian guys that I won't mention their name, Simone, that they're going to stop shit at the border, and you're going to have to deal with customs, and then they're going to charge you extra, and they're going to, there's a lot of tariff problems, and then like when you ship into the UK, The cute part about the UK is if you list on your bill what it is and how much it costs, whoever it's coming into in the UK, they have to pay that tax. So if you sell, a $5,000 piece, when it gets in the UK, they look at it and go, okay, you whatever the tax is in the UK, I think it's 63% or something like that. You have to pay 63% of the $5K. And then buyers have a fucking heart attack.
Wow.
Yeah. So you got to usually keep it low, keep your costs low, declare it low, but they have to agree on it. Like the buyer has to take the responsibility of something if some limey jagoff steals it or something.
The few times I've done overseas shipping like that, they say just mark it as a gift. I'll take the risk. You have a good feedback. Here you go.
That's the only way to do it. Yeah, but you see, you got to get them to agree on that.
Sure.
Because if they don't agree on it, and then it gets stolen, you're the one that eats it.
Yep.
And they want a full refund. So but most of them know what time it is because all these countries are the same now. France, the UK, Italy, they're all these countries got their hand out. They want tariff. They want the money for the tariffs. So you really can't get away with a lot of that shit anymore. That's why a lot of dealers won't deal with international buyers. I think it's stupid, but they just won't deal with it.
Yeah, because I've noticed a lot of the. Well, I think you even mentioned yourself. You do a lot better at these art shows with the foreign buyers than you do with the American buyers.
Yeah. I would say, and the same with the internet. I would say 70% of our internet sales are all from overseas, especially Asia, and Germany and Luxembourg and Spain a little bit. The UK not so much because there's just not a big art market for stuff there as much as there is here, and Italy is pretty good. It's coming on strong. But I would say right now for us it's Asia. We sell more stuff to Asia than we do to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Those fuckers got a lot of money, especially in Hong Kong and Japan. Yeah, they don't fuck around, man. They come in and they see it and they order art like pizzas, give me that, and that. Okay, out the door. Boom.
Wow.
Very unassuming guys too. If you see these guys at San Diego, you'd walk right by and wouldn't think anything of it. They're huge art collectors in Asia.
Like that one guy at Heroes Con. Remember at the art auction?
Yeah.
He was bidding way up. He didn't end up being the highest bidder, but he was a Japanese guy, and he was bidding on a lot of things. And apparently he's well known in that community. He buys a lot of art and is a big supporter of artists and stuff. So,
yeah, it's. I've been at I was at the Sotheby's auction for stuff that they did with Alex, and a lot of it comes in off the phone, and I know who those guys are. Those are the Asian guys. I sell a lot of stuff to the guy who owns. Nippon Television, he owns the Japanese television, companies over there, and just they're big American, art collectors. And these guys aren't dealers. I mean, a lot of times, I get dealers buying the stuff to resell it, but for the most part, the stuff that I do overseas, it's just collectors, guys buying it for their own, for own collections and stuff. So it's really interesting. Sometimes I'll have these guys that want me to buy stuff for them, to send to them because the sellers here won't sell it to them because they're from another country, which I could never understand. I think it's ridiculous. So I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll get it for you. Just tell me what it is. And of course, when they see it's me, they double the price, but, Sorry, I'm not real popular with all the art dealers, but that's all right.
Yeah, you've made reference in that in the past.
Well, no, there's some of these guys are mad, for whatever reasons, and I just really don't get into it. I don't play into the politics of it all. I don't buy the stuff and then resell it. The stuff belongs to, Alex and belongs to Bill, belongs to Simone. So they tell me what they want, and that's what I go with.
Yeah.
And so these guys come over and they want, crazy deals and stuff, and I'm like, guys, I'm telling you what the artist tells me. That's what he wants. That's what I go with. I'm not selling puppies. So if you got a problem, then I don't know what to say. I don't need any more friends. I mean, come on. I don't. I really don't. I prefer it that way. I don't get lonely anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. Yeah.
The more friends you have, the more people try to mooch off you. So
no, you see, there's I'm always willing to anything that's fair. I believe it. A deal is something that both sides are happy with. That both sides can walk away and go, okay, this is all right. And everything, the whole nature of the business itself is everything is negotiable. Everything's negotiable. Any price that anybody sees, it's just that's how it works. For me, anyway. So sometimes these guys will come to you and they'll want to negotiate prices, but yet when you want to get something from them, there is no negotiating of prices. It's just their way, and that's it. Mm-hmm. So it's not a two-way street. So I'm like, okay, well, fine. And the next time you come by me, there isn't going to be any negotiating. It's just going to be the price it's listed at is the price it goes for, period. And then that turns into them being pissed off. Sal, you're being ridiculous. Okay, well, I'm sorry. What do you want from me? Yeah.
What do you think, sort of along those same lines, what do you think is going to happen in the new year with the economy, price increase of comics, printing, I'm sure has a lot to do with it, overhead. Like, how do you think all this is going to affect the industry?
I don't know. I mean, for my money, it seems to me when there's down times, people tend to go to the movies more and people tend to need entertainment more. That's just my opinion. And yeah, I think there's definitely going to be certain, like companies, I think the first thing you're going to see is I think you're going to see publishers start to lay people off because there's just not as much product, there's not as much spending in general. But I think, we're definitely going to see some problems. But I think comics, anytime I go to the comic store, I always ask. I go, hey, man, how's it going? And from what I've been hearing so far, everything is okay. I mean, people are still buying comics. People are still spending money. Now, if the companies are going to keep putting out tons and tons of shit, then, I don't know if people are going to be, keep buying it all. We can only have so many Loki miniseries, and then you go, wait a minute, guys, I don't know how many fucking times I need to read about Loki, but, I think that for the most part, people need entertainment now. People need to, escape, like Shirley Temple during the Depression. People need to have something going on. But that's what I was kind of getting at the top of the show when I was talking a little bit how we're going to see what happens to New York. We're going to see how many exhibitors pull out or see how many people just say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to exhibit. I know from an artist's point of view, it's working the opposite. Every artist I talk to is dying to set up and do commissions because they need the cash.
Oh, right.
You got two, Peter, you got two things that happen in the fall, in the late winter that have nothing to do with the economy. One, you got the holidays. People are broke because of the holidays.
Sure.
Two, it's tax time. And for most artists, tax time kicks them in the ass because a lot of these guys don't have money taken out of their check. They have to prep for tax time. So, sometimes they don't plan for tax time as well as they should. So that's when everybody tends to need money. So a lot of artists I know that if you need shit from them, if you hit them tax time, oh boy, they're all over you.
Yeah.
Most of my Atomica covers I got around tax time. When artists who would normally say no go, yeah, sure, what is it? Bald guy with a star? Sure. Especially the European dudes, because they get hit with tax bills 10 times worse than we got over here. So, from that point of view, I think you're going to see some great, lineups at New York and at San Francisco, where artists are going to be there because there's a lot of, every artist I talked to, I was talking with David Finch today, and he was saying, my God, New York for him was just like gangbusters last year. He had lines that wouldn't stop. And Simone says the same thing, and Gabriele, and the rest of those greaseballs. They all do killer at New York because there's a lot of, commissions that people want to get from them. And it's cash and care for a lot of these dudes. I don't know how much of it they declare. So,
what happens if they're there, but the demand isn't there? People don't come.
See, that's what we're going to wait to see. I mean, yeah. I think February wasn't necessarily a great thing for obvious reasons. It's
sure.
Cold, and my God, if we get a snowstorm, forget it. It's going to be a fucking disaster. I mean, in terms of people showing up in a snowstorm. But New York claims they wanted to keep the big room. They wanted to keep the momentum going and keep the size of it the way it was. And they couldn't get the big room in April, so they kept it. They had to move it to February. Now, WonderCon was fantastic last year. It was packed. It was sold out. It was, they sold out every ticket. And this year, I don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean, I know that it's downtown San Fran, and it's during Chinese New Year, so they got a lot of marketing things working for them. And they're the San Diego people, so they know how to put on, a great show. So that's for me, the barometer is going to be what happens in New York in February. Be really curious to see how people are going to spend money and how things are going to, work out.
This is like our own market watch with comic conventions.
No, I don't know.
I love it. I love it.
I tend to be optimistic about the stuff, but I think in general, I think people are gonna, kind of hold their wallet closer to the vest. But then again, you got the holidays, so then you got that working for you, where people have to spend money during the holidays. It's Christmas. People have to buy more shit, and but con-wise, I don't know, man. I think that it's that kind of Darwin marketing where some of these fuckers should go under because they're just, if you're putting out a shit product and the show sucks, then you either adapt to what people want or you die. Wizard is a prime example that they never adapted to what Toronto did and even what Mocha did, even what you guys are doing, with Super Show, where you give people what they want and you do a grassroots thing and you try to get creators. You either respond or you fucking die. And Chicago isn't dying by accident. You can't keep doing the same shit and expect different results, which is what they're doing over there. Philly, I heard, is really hurting this year. They're really trying to, beg, borrow, and steal to keep that show alive. Texas, but I've heard Texas has had has been on a resuscitator for the last 5 years. I've heard, and it's still kicking. So, but I don't know. I'll quite frankly, guys, I'll be really surprised if Chicago goes off without a hitch this year. I just can't see it. I mean, this year for us was so bad. Sales-wise and attendance-wise, it was just our worst Chicago ever. But, I talked to people that said Chicago was fantastic for them, so what the fuck do I know? I know dick. I mean, sometimes people are like, really, Sal? I'm like, yeah, but I talked to guys that this was their best Chicago ever. So, I usually try to ask, Bob Chapman at Graffiti and Fletch over at D.C. I try to ask guys, hey, man, how was it? How's it doing? Not just money-wise, but people-wise, how was it? Was it well-attended? Did you think it did well? Or, and a lot of them were just kind of shrugging their shoulders going, no, there was nothing here to really, to really make an excuse to come out and spend all that money on hotels and hookers and restaurants and mini bars and fucking Twizzlers and all that shit that costs tons of money, Those fucking red Twizzlers are expensive.
You had a good time at the Windy City Con, right?
Windy City Con, see, that's a prime example of what, a guy puts a one-day show together and it's packed, I mean, Ed Norton was there, so, Mike Norton, so it wasn't that great, but... Oh, I'm kidding. Norton's Norton's one of those fucking guys that I've seen him around because of you guys, because of Super Show, and him and I have never really had a fucking conversation. So I stopped at his table at Chicago, and I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? So I didn't even know he lived in Chicago.
Yeah.
We actually shot the shit for 10 minutes for the first time, and I don't fucking know how long.
Cool.
And he's a nice guy,
Yeah. We love Mike.
Yeah, Mike's good people, and it's just Windy City kind of really surprised me. When they contacted me, I said, look, man, anything in the city, I'll, I'm there. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, so... And it was fantastic for a one-day show, man. The place was packed. It was a Mocha type environment. A lot of artists, a lot of people. Not a lot of posing and bullshit. Just a lot of artists talking with comics people and a lot of 3-4 new comic stores in Chicago too, which shocked the shit out of me. We got like 3 new stores, man. 4 new stores, which really I thought comic stores were closing, but we've actually got some opening here, so. Good to see.
That's cool.
Yeah, we need more peep shows, but the Rusty Nail and shit like that, they're all gone. The White Swallow and
come on.
The Loading Zone, that shit, they're all gone now. You know what killed peep shows? You want a little bit of trivia? You know what killed all the peep shows in Chicago? Jeffrey Dahmer killed all the peep shows in Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they would do these reports because he was from Milwaukee and he would come into Chicago to pick up, guys and kill them, whatever was going on. So he was making the rounds of all the peep shows, looking for, gay guy. And there was a lot on Wells in Chicago, which was the last bastion peep shows, like what Giuliani did to Times Square, was on Wells. And the last guy that he murdered, he picked up on Wells, so they kept showing Wells on TV, and that was it. And they practically boarded those fucking places up overnight. The mayor went in and made them all go. So that's why there's not one peep show in Chicago anymore.
It's a lost American pastime.
Well, no, the DVD and the video, of course, had a lot to do with, killing that shit too, but still, it was Jeffrey Dahmer closed down all those scary little joints.
Scary.
Not that I would know. Jesse told me all about it. It was fucking. I'm gonna run like a Zagat guy to the peep shows of Chicago. Who's got the stickiest floors, and who gives you hand towels with Nivea and who doesn't, that kind of shit.
Nivea.
Well, Jamie's not here. Jamie would know. So.
Yeah. No, he's not here.
What happened to Jamie? Is it like
He now works until 1:30 in the morning or something.
On a Monday. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like maybe unlimited crab legs at Red Lobster days.
No, then we wouldn't have seen Pants.
Yeah, that'd be Pants.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Now we're trying to figure out if any of these shows Pants doesn't go to this year. What's your next show then, Pants? What would it be?
New York.
Okay. So there's nothing before February. Huh? There's nothing in. Because we had one local jagoff in Chicago. He had a show on Super Bowl weekend all days to have the fucking thing. Yeah. Needless to say, that didn't work out.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we've got the Philly does a Sunday show every now and then. I want to go.
That's
down
a small
there.
hotel show. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't Angoulême in January? Does that count?
Yeah, Angoulême. Some of the publishers have been nagging me. Are you going to go? Are you going to go? And then, I never hear back from them. And I say, guys, it has to have a lot to do with housing. You guys got to help me get housing. I have a girl that I hire as a translator for when we go in there who lives in Angoulême. And she's like, oh, you can rent these houses. And trust me, I've rented houses in Angoulême. And the last guys that lived in these fucking houses were the Germans when the French and the Allied forces kicked them out.
Oh, shit.
Because these fucking houses, there's no heat. And they don't believe in insulation. They were built by the Romans, and you're freezing your ass off in these houses. And you go, there's no running water to speak of. You got to go piss in a creek. And I says, guys, I just can't do this shit anymore. I can't. All this French resistance shit I grew up with, thinking there's going to be these cute little, damsels helping me. No, not there. So, and last couple of years, Angoulême went through a lot of changes. The people that run the show made them. They did a lot of kind of updating of the village, and then they moved the show. They spread it out a little to make it a little bit more sporadic. So a lot of the publishers were up in arms with, the changes. And then they had a big snowstorm there last year. So attendance, yeah. So. I found that, if I can avoid it, I will. But if they give me, they always want to do a big Sienkiewicz art thing there. But every time we start talking about doing it, it never comes together. So we're talking about doing something in Paris with Simone this year in the spring. But we'll see how that goes.
What would that be? Some kind of exhibition?
No, there's a couple of, there's some really, there's a huge comic thing in France, and there's a couple really cool gallery owners, and they've tried to have a show in Paris. They tried for 2-3 years ago. They tried to have this show in June in Paris, and it just never really took off. It's just a bad time in Paris to have a show because there's just so much. It's the opposite. The French people leave Paris, and then all the tourists come into Paris in June. So there's a lot of tourism. So the show took a bath. It tanked. And so these guys came to us in Lucca, and they're nice guys, and they want to do this art exhibition for Simone. And, of course, Simone, any chance to get his ass kissed, he's in line. He's there. So he's like, yes, we should do it. I think it would be great for my career. And, I'm like, yeah, okay. But, I got some questions about who's going to do the framing, who's going to do the security, what's going to happen, and blah, blah, blah. So we'll see what happens.
Well,
but,
cool.
telling my wife I got to go to Paris in June is going to be the next hurdle. Because she's on me about the second kid now, so.
Oh, boy.
Oh, guys, I've got to tell you, man, it just scares the fuck out of me.
No.
The lower part of my body has one of those Ghostbuster signs over it. The red circle with the line over it is just over my cock. There's just nothing going on. when it comes, for me to have a kid. It's like, I can't, guys, I can't. I'm so fucking terrified, you just can't. I'm one of those guys, you got to slap him, he gets so scared. You talk about a second kid. I kid you not. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, at one, he's kicking my ass. It's like, having an 800-pound gorilla in the room, this one kid. The two, and those first 4 months.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. When people said then, if you'd have a third, I'm like, no, there's no third.
Right.
I got two, I'm good.
It's done.
Wow.
Yeah,
Let me
Sal,
tell you, I'm telling you guys, what do you think about the second one? I'm thinking to myself, second one? My God, I mean, I barely made it through this with the first guy. I mean, because I'm not like you guys. I'm not as, young as springtime, shooting those fucking Marlboro ads where I'm running around on a horse and shit. I'm an old guy, You guys, you're those guys that I see in those Pampers commercials chasing them through the park and all that shit. I'm the guy sitting on the bench with a cigar. Come here. Come over here. Oh, fuck, there's a car. Come here. That kind of thing. So he'll limp a little bit. Give him character. Don't worry about it. When I babysit, I put him in the playpen. I turn it upside down so he can't get out of it.
That's a very popular method.
I put a boulder on top of it. I babysit him like he's a wild dingo. And then when my wife comes home, hey, I was holding him the whole time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. And then, the idea of a second one, it's like, oh, my God. It's like, no, they could gang up on me then. Those first 4 months last year, guys, fuck. I was walking around like fucking Lon Chaney and Hunchback of Notre Dame. That was how fucked up I was. I was so fucked up. The lack of sleep and the eating and the no bathing and you fight with your wife and you get into arguments and you get on each other's nerves and, it was terrible. It was just fucked up.
And then you finally put it all behind you. And then number two, and it all starts over again.
You walk around like Jason Bourne. You don't remember any of it because it was so fucking terrible. You can't remember any of it. I have flashbacks.
And let me tell you, I'm not going to lie to you. It's 10 times harder with the second one because now you got to deal with the first one.
You're the only fucking guy. Everybody else is like, oh, Sal, the second one's easier.
People kept telling me that, and I got the second one. I'm like, you people are fucking nuts.
It's easier from the perspective that you now are used to dealing with a child,
yes.
So the little things don't scare you anymore, and you carry the kid around with one arm like it's no problem, where you're a little cautious the first time. So in that sense, it's easier. But everything is compounded so much because now suddenly that 2-year-old is way more complicated when you're trying to deal with a 1-month-old while the 2-year-old is running around and wants your attention and blah 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 blah. Yeah. So it's not now. Maybe when they're 5, it'll be real simple because they can entertain each other.
I won't be alive. See, you guys are leaving out the most important thing. I can't do this shit anymore. I'm in my, I'm 45. You guys are younger. You're still full of piss and vinegar. I got like fucking hairy taint and all that shit. I can't do it anymore. I try, and there's times when I'm just like, I can't fucking do this. I mean, where you hear yourself saying, I must have been out of my fucking mind. Where I hear myself saying that. Like, because it's the sleep deprivation, man. It starts to wear you down, man, and every part of your physical body starts just crying out to you, like, what the fuck are you doing? Maybe if 10 years ago, I would say, you know what, I probably should have done this. But 10 years ago, I was far too fucking full of myself to stop and have kids. But in my 40s, you figure, time of your life, I don't want to be one of those old jagoffs that winds up, alone and blah blah blah. But now I'm looking for those jobs like the one Kurt Russell had in The Thing, where he's out in fucking Siberia, wearing the sombrero in the snow, and you don't see people for months at a time. That's the job I want now. I just want to be left the fuck alone sometimes. I find myself going to cons just to sleep. Because I get no sleep at home, none. The kid is when he started sleeping, now the teething shit started. Yeah. He's teething. Whatever the fuck that is.
Whiskey on the
and I'm like, teething, and then, we got the daycare, her ma's been great, comes over and watches him, but they watch him here, and I work here, and I live here, so it's like fucking kinder care over here all the time with the screaming and the hollering, and I can't get any work done. So I need, like, my office to become like, I need to get guys that build recording studios, where you shut the door and you can't hear anything. That's what I need. like 4 feet of padding on every wall. Or a tree house to sleep in. Is what I
My two are 7 and 4, and while it's frustrating at times, it's shorter bursts of frustration, much more enjoyment, and less hassle. Generally speaking.
Okay. Well, I heard my brother said at 3 it changes a lot because, they go, because he's still not at the daycare that he goes away. And he needs, I could tell he needs the interaction with other kids, because he gets bored at home playing with his toys and, watching Gilligan's Island all fucking day. So, I tell my wife, I go, he really should be playing with other kids, running around and doing all that shit. And I'm looking forward to when he just, he goes to school in the morning. And he's got that going for him. And I can get some work done. Because during the day, man, I'm not independently wealthy. I can't just sit at home and play, chopsticks with him. I got to get some shit done,
When with me, when my oldest went to daycare, even for a few hours in the morning, it was a preschool.
Yeah.
I still had the second one, which was a baby, but that was so much easier because by that time I had the baby stuff down pat. So I drop him off, and I could do 1,000 things that I couldn't do the first time around, even though I had a baby with me.
You're a little more lenient when he's crying. You can let him cry for like an extra 30 minutes.
You learn that it's okay. You get a scream, and okay, now I got to go check on him.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, see, no, guys, I got to tell you, man, it just scares the fuck out of me. I mean, I'm like, when every time the conversation starts, I bring up something else. Hey, don't you need a mink coat? Need a mink coat? Oh, no, I was just wondering, because I saw one the other day, and I thought, who this would look good on? And they go, oh, really? Mink coat? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's like, that's how desperate I get. That's how bad. Because, it just, it's not even about, people, oh, Sal, what are you talking about? What do you, it's not to change a lifestyle. Because, where the fuck am I going to go? What am I going to be, the guy at the disco? Come on, where am I going? I'm not fucking Ricardo Montalban anymore. Where the fuck am I going to go? It's got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with, all I got in my life now is my work and my drawing. And when you start to chip away into that, I got nothing. Now I become like my dad, that fucking raving lunatic. With less hair. My father was just real hairy, so I'm the same guy with less hair. And you become your dad. That's the problem. With Thanksgiving, I started to hear myself say shit that my dad would say.
Scary.
It scares the fuck out of you when you start going, I'm gonna fucking turn the TV off if you guys don't stop. I go, wait a minute, did I just say that?
I got to go around the corner and go, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah. Or, all right, guys, you got to get out of here now. I got to get some sleep. Sleep? When did I put such a premium on sleep? Like I got guys outside. I got these fucking the cream of the American crop. This is why this country is going to shit and the terrorists hate us. Streets and sanitations in Chicago. Okay, I don't know how they are, in the state of Pennsylvania where you guys live, but Jesus Christ, in Chicago, these fucking guys will take 3 months to do like a 2-day job here. So they ripped up my street. And I mean ripped up. It looks like Patton's First Army went through in front of my house. Tore up the curbs, tore up the sewers, and they got these fucking bulldozers that every time they back up, they beep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they've been working on this since, I kid you not, since the end of August. They have been out in front of my house where the whole house shakes every time a bulldozer goes by. So what do? They wake up the kid constantly. And then they wake me up constantly. And it's like I've gone out there I don't know how many times and called these guys names and said, you fucking guys, man. It's like they built the Panama Canal in less time than you guys have done this shit out here in front of my house. I watch these specials about they built the Empire State Building in 13. I go, where are those guys? Where are those fucking guys that used to do this kind of shit? Because the lazy fucking hillbillies we got here in Chicago, I'm telling you, they cannot fix a fucking sewer lid and put a curb in since the end of August. And I'm like, what is all this bullshit about the pyramids? And you go see the Coliseum, and you go, what were those fucking guys on? That like here in Chicago, nothing happens, zero. They're out there smoking cigarettes, and oh fuck.
They can build a whole Walmart in like 3 days.
Yeah.
When capitalism's driving it.
I was watching a thing on the other night on what is it, Modern Marvels or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And they built the Empire State Building in 13 months. How the fuck? I'm going, these guys must have been hungry or something, or they didn't pay him till the end of the day or some shit like that. I don't know. Because these assholes out here, you look out there and you go, God, this country, aren't we the guys that like storm the beaches at Normandy and like, push the Japanese out of the Pacific? Not if you sent these fuckers. If you sent these fucking guys, we'd be in handcuffs right now. We'd be in a lot of trouble, man. We'd be eating strudel and goose stepping in the United States right now. If you sent these fuckers. Because, I mean, do you know what I'm talking about when they fix roads by you guys? Is it just a lot of retards standing around with a finger in their ass? Because that's what we got in Chicago.
Sal, they just did on the one road that I have to take every day. Sometime in the summer, they put up the cones, and I thought, they're going to repave the road,
Right.
And sometimes they do that thing where they scrape it off one day and they pave it the next. They just took the cones down last week, and all they did was repave the shoulders. Since
Nothing.
July, they repaved the shoulder. Who
These
who
guys,
drives
trust
on the
me,
fucking shoulder?
I told these guys here, I said, guys, right now, all that shit in Egypt and all that shit in Europe and all that, you guys got nothing to worry about, trust me. Because you fucking guys call yourself engineers and call yourself contractors, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I could get my nieces over here to do a faster job than these fucking idiots. I mean, they lay concrete. It's like you got 5 assholes and one guy standing there with a cigarette and a walkie. I love the walkie-talkies, like they're really doing something important. And they're standing around, I'm going, guys, it's, and then they quit at 3 o'clock. You got this shit going on, and I'm going, man, this is a nice fucking country, America. You quit at 3 o'clock. I thought you were supposed to get this shit done. I guarantee they're going to milk this well past the new year. I mean, I thought when I went to Italy, there's no way they wouldn't be done by the time I got back. No fuck, I got back, they haven't even done shit. Nothing. Putting a new fucking sewer in. You see these things. How do people die, and they didn't get enough food or, jag-offs like this, How the fuck, you look around and you wonder, how did anything get done? How did they put up street lights and sidewalks and, and all this shit in this country get done? You look, not based on streets and sand in Chicago. Trust me. It's like CPD's the same way. Chicago Police Department. They're like the fucking Gestapo.
Uh-oh.
No, I mean, I'm glad we got them. We need them because that's the way they are. You get pulled over for a fucking parking ticket, man. I'm telling you, you better hold your breath because it could be one of two things. They could arrest you for murder, or you could get a ticket and get sent home. One of the two things. That's how it works. But hey, I grew up in a city. You need jag-offs to deal with jag-offs. That's how it works.
Yeah.
I got pulled over and got a ticket the other night. This fucking guy wrote me tickets for shit I never even did. Wrote me tickets for shit I did in 3rd grade. Well, your bike didn't have a reflector on itself, so I got to give you $80 for that. And then here's $60 for your car doesn't have white. You don't have white stripes on your tires, so that's a problem. Can't see you. And the car you're driving is a little dark for nighttime. So we're going to have to give you another ticket for that. And then you got to go to traffic court, which is the biggest fucking joke. I don't know if you guys got traffic court where you are.
Sure.
But Chicago traffic court is like something out of it's like Midnight Express. You go in there and it's just a big joke. You go up and you think you're going to get your day in court to talk to the judge. He's going to tell. Fuck that. You go up, they tell you how much money you got to pay. That's it. There's no, so what happened? No, there's none of that. That shit don't exist.
Well, whatever you do planning the second kid, hopefully it doesn't interfere with Super Show next year.
Yeah, don't get her pregnant
Guys,
in January.
As long as they don't have it around, let me see. I wouldn't worry about Super Show. What year is the other question?
Did you have fun at Super Show? We haven't talked to you since then.
we had a good time, man.
Good.
Are you kidding? I mean, it's a nice show because it's the end. It's really like the end of the con season for me because Chicago was just a bad experience for me. I didn't want to have to do it this year, but it was something Alex wanted to do, so I said cool. And then San Diego was fine. It was pretty evently. It was no big deal. It was the same shit. You can only get prison rape is prison rape. There's only really it's going to go one way, and that's what San Diego's turned into. So you know what's coming. And then Toronto's turned into a good time. I love to do Toronto now every year, so that I think is going to definitely replace Chicago.
The Fan Expo?
Although I heard they're moving back to August, I heard.
Right, yeah.
So I would definitely recommend Toronto over, as long as they don't do it Labor Day. they do Labor Day, that might fuck things up, because got a lot of picnics and barbecues and shit.
Yeah. And I saw that in your email you attached a cover to the next one of the next issues of Atomic.
Yeah, I got 10 and 11. I just been holding out on releasing them because I'm trying to decide if I'm going to just restart it up through Diamond again or just keep doing it myself the way I have been.
Yeah.
Because I got 4 issues in the can now, and I was going to do this big double page thing through Diamond, but I don't know, man. I've been doing it on my own, and it's kind of been going the way I wanted to do it, and I don't have any complaints. And I talked to Travis Cheris at San Diego, and I thought it was going to take a long time because he's got some other stuff going on at Marvel. He was working on some covers, but man, he handed it off to me right away. I was shocked. So
cool.
It turned out great. So I don't know if you guys like Travis or not, but he did a great job.
Oh, big. Yeah, I really like his stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
That Space Girl stuff that he was doing out that got collected.
Yeah, I talked to him about. He's really, he's a sweetheart of a guy, and his wife's having a baby, so we'll probably see a lot less of him too. But I talked to him about doing. It worked out so well with him, and he sends me this layout. He goes, "Oh, this is just a layout," and he sends me the layout. The layout was like a finished painting.
Wow.
And then he finished. He sends me the finish, and I went ahead and asked him if he wanted to do the second trade cover, and we'll see. I mean, I don't know based on his schedule or whatever, but it worked out great, and he's a sweet kid. I mean, I've known him for a couple of years, but we really don't get together and bullshit around that much. But we got together a little bit at San Diego this year, and his wife's real nice, and we got together at Super Show, and I went to that the now infamous winery thing where I got stuck in a fucking van with Jane from the Go-Go's with Buzz.
Oh yeah.
And he's still running around with that fucking DVD, that yellow son of a bitch. He kills me. I got to say something bad about him or he won't listen to the episode. Buzz is one of them guys where if you say some shit about him, then people go, "Hey, Buzz, Sal was talking shit about you on Geek Speak." But then he'll listen. But if I don't say shit about him, then it's like, no, he didn't. He won't listen. He's, it's got to be about him.
Well, this way he'll have to listen to all of it. So.
Yeah, now how's it been going? I mean, you guys still going strong? I mean, you guys are putting out more shows now, right?
Yeah, we have spin-off shows and stuff that's a little more specific, toys and European comics and back issues, and seems to people are still listening.
Manga.
Well, we incorporate that here and
I
there.
just can't get into it, guys. I mean, I think it's great. I mean, Simone and I got in a big conversation about it, and he's all pissed off about it. I'm like, Simone, leave it alone. I mean, if that's what it's what they're going to read, that's what they're going to read. You know, I mean,
sure.
It's comics, man. I mean, you got to take what you like and what you don't. Like me personally, there's a lot of shit that I like that people don't like. So, who am I to say?
Right? Yeah, no.
I'll tell you one thing that did come out that I don't know if it's going to come out here in the States, but I bought it when I was in Italy. Is they released the entire run of the daily strip. Spider-Man did a daily strip that John Romita Sr. did with Stan Lee. I don't know if you guys ever saw that when you were growing up. They had it in the paper every day.
Yeah.
Anyway, they collected them all and they put them out in 2-volume book. Man, it's awesome.
Oh.
If you like John Romita Sr. So.
Who published it?
I found it in Italy. It was a publisher there, and I thought, every time I buy one of these books and I think, oh, man, look what I got, I turn around and they come out with it in English. Because this one is in Italian, and it was put out by, what is the name of the company? It wasn't put out by, I bought it at the Panini table. I was assuming it was Panini. So, yeah, I'm sorry, it was Panini that put it out. So, but right now, it's as far as I know, it's only out in Italy. But I've been trying to find those because he did a great run on Spider-Man. It was in the paper every day for a while, and then he quit doing it, and Larry Lieber took it over. But the Romita ones are all classics. They're great.
Cool.
It's great stuff.
That's
And
excellent.
JR was we had a really good time with JR and Luca. He's always fun to hang out with. I guess he was on his way through Toronto. They made Kick-Ass into a movie or something, he was telling me.
Yeah.
And he was there for that. And then he came down to Luca for a couple days.
Cool.
They made him sign with Simone. Can you imagine? Poor fucking guy.
Oh.
How How was Gloria, and did she have her baby?
Gloria's good. Leonardo is the kid. He's
Perfect.
he's getting big, man. I mean, it's like, it happens fast. But, I told Simone, because my sister works for him, I said, you better forget about your sister for a while, because she's going to be busy with the kid,
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, man, when you first have a kid. So, but the kid looks great. I mean, she brought him around a little bit, and she's got the parents helping her out, taking care of him, and he had a nice setup. His father was there, and a couple of his assistants, and then I had Tiziano, the guy that helps run Toronto. He came out there with me to help me run a little because he speaks Italian, so I needed someone to help translate. No, the art is not free in Italian. But he had to say all weekend. You get a lot of that shit from these other dealers. And I hired a couple of local people. Some were good and some were worthless. So,
Cool.
But
Cool. All right.
we got to get you fucking guys to go out there, man. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Hey, I told you a million times. I'll help at your booth for free.
Yeah,
right?
but you see, here's where I got to draw the line. You can't have little babies, man, screaming.
No. When
If I
Tasha
want
and
that, I got that at home.
when Tasha and I go to Europe, we leave the kids at home. That's
How
rule number one.
How the fuck do you guys pull that off?
Well, we
I
got
haven't even figured that one out yet.
between my parents and Tasha's parents, they all want to watch the kids, and it's no problem.
Wow.
And your wife doesn't have a problem with
No, are you kidding me? She couldn't wait.
that? Because I tell that to my wife, and she's like, I don't know if I could be away from him for that long. And I'm like,
We
God,
don't have a
no,
problem
maybe I'm
with
an
that.
asshole. Because Alex always gets on my case. He's like, you fucking abandon your family every chance you get, he tells me, right? I go, Alex, I'm working. I'm going to a con. It's not like I'm in Vegas scratching my ass or in Amsterdam with those two hillbillies. I mean, I'm working. But, you guys had, I'm sure had fathers like that growing up. They were working all the time, And my father was always working. I mean, it wasn't like that's how I want to be like my old man. But, it's like when your dad's at work, it's not like he's neglecting you. I mean, fuck. Can't be with the kid every minute.
Right. Well, makes sense.
You got to work. You got to eat. It's not like I can just stay home and scratch my ass. No, you got to go to, like every year with San Diego. Oh, my God, how do you leave your wife at home and go to San Diego? It's like, because I'm working. It's like I'm not in San Diego, walking around like fucking David Niven with a smoking jacket on. I'm working my ass off. I tell you, come spend an afternoon with me and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
Get up at 6:30 and deal with the level of jag-offs that I got to deal with, and then have a conversation with me.
They won't even get you breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about those fucks.
Oh,
those are world-class fuck level. I'm talking about just the assholes that are behind the booth. My nephews. You know what I got to do this year, guys? I had to fire one of my nephews. Can you imagine? You imagine that? Your own relatives, you think, hey, God, how can it be a problem? It's relatives, hey, guinea pride and all that bullshit. The worst experience of my life. I was ready to kill these fucking kids, I swear to God. That's how bad it was.
Oh. Well, we need to.
You guys don't give a shit. Why am I looking to you for sympathy?
No, we care. We care.
I care because it gives us great stories later on.
No, it's just that, you get to a point where with San Diego where it's like, look, I don't mind you guys having a good time. But it just gets to be to a point where it's like, guys, you can't be, throwing shit out, throwing furniture out hotel windows and doing all the rest of this shit. You can't be doing this shit.
I tell Pants that all the time. Work is work.
Yeah, Pants, you get in trouble this year, or would they catch you?
No.
Buying oregano from those cops? What was it?
No. Out gambling, playing poker with Jim Lee. And...
I actually did. Well, he wasn't there this year.
Oh, he wasn't there this year? Okay.
No.
You didn't play poker with that little bastard?
No, I did, but he did not. He did not attend the game.
there.
We saw him at the baseball game, though.
Well, you saw him.
That's right. We did see him
I meant
at the
me as
baseball
in me and
game.
Sal,
Yeah.
not you.
He's that's kind of that whole thing's turned into like a big soap opera, man. I don't know what to make of that bullshit. His girlfriend and all that other bullshit. People start telling me that story to me, and I'm like, guys, I don't even fucking know what you're talking about. I could give two fucks, to be honest with you. I'm always like, oh, really? Oh, wow. Oh, that's good. Hey, guys, where are we going to go eat? That's all I'm usually worried about.
Well, we're going to see you out in New York, so and that'll be here
You guys,
before.
everybody making it out, or what's the story?
Pretty
So far,
much.
so good.
Yeah,
I think
pretty
so.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to do the, don't they have like a podcasting thing for you guys?
Yep. They're
Yeah.
doing it again this year. And I'm also excited because my brother got a booth for his comic cubes.
Oh, cool.
So
Yes,
that's going to be
right.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I forwarded that stuff on to some people. I don't know if it. How's it going? Did you get a lot of gigs out of Super Show, or did it?
Well, he has a few orders, so he's very excited. And that's fine for them. They want to ramp up slowly. They don't want to be inundated with orders right away. So
yeah.
and they're just gearing up for New York now, so they're excited.
That's a good idea, man. I mean, it's one of those things where more people than you know got comics that they just, they got them literally don't know where to store the shit. You got to keep it in the attic, or you got to build special shelves, or
Yeah.
I had to build special shelves to store all my shit. You just got no room for those long boxes.
Yeah.
And the way your brother's got it, man, you could find everything, and you got a compartment in there for Buzz to hide drugs, all that shit.
That's a special custom build, but they're working on it.
Angel Medina could sleep in there. Shit going on. Make a little fucking hide-a bed out of it, the whole 9 yards.
There we go.
Listen, you want to know something while we're on the subject of that fucking guy? That guy's on my shit list. I have not heard from that guy since Chicago. I don't know how many times I've called him and emailed him, but that son of a bitch is like, he acts like the jilted prom queen all of a sudden. He doesn't return phone calls and doesn't return emails. So if me talking shit about him on the show gets him pissed off enough to call me, that's fine. But I think he would fit perfect in one of those drawers.
They could line it with
Come
felt.
on. I mean, he can pick a color or everything, He was one for the clothes, one to sleep in, and then switch off when you're washing the laundry, and you're doing the sheets and shit.
Might even be able
Perfect.
to
Then we
install
can
a
get your
little
brother
light.
to put a skylight in one of them, a little plastic top, poke a few fucking holes so you don't choke to death, and we're ready to go.
Perfect.
Yeah, you put one of those little hoses from like the fish tank so you can piss out in the middle of the night. Don't worry about that.
Oh.
Any of you guys got a fish tank? I just took my fish tank, threw everything in it, and fucking put it by the garbage can. I swear to God.
I have a 90-gallon tank that's been sitting on my patio for a year now. I'm just trying to sell it to somebody for like $100.
The worst fucking thing ever created by man are fish tanks. Let me tell you something. These things fucking stink, and no matter what you do, they're always rancid, and the fish die. And I'm telling you, when my last fish, this son of a bitch would not die. You could put battery acid in the water, and this fucker wouldn't die. And I didn't have the heart to flush him because he was like, I think he was like one of the original fish to come off of fucking Noah's Ark or something. He wouldn't die. Okay? So I finally said, I told my wife, I go, dumb. I mean, he won't even be fucking dead 10 seconds. As soon as I dumped out the water, I threw everything inside the tank. Hoses, filters, all that nasty shit you got to buy, charcoal and the shit that makes you scratch your hands, the fiberglass, in the fucking alley. Boom! Threw it out. I was like, ah! It was like I took a shit when I dropped it in the garbage can. I was so happy. Never again. I see these guys with these huge tanks, like the one you're talking about. I don't know how you do it. I really don't.
Well, the bigger they are, the easier they are to maintain because the more water you have, a more level, balanced ecosystem. If a little bit of dirt gets in a small
salt
tank,
or regular?
Regular.
Oh fuck! I was gonna say salt. That's like shit biochemistry to me. I can't keep that shit. You got to be like working at the zoo to handle salt. I'm talking the shit that like the Tetras you buy like 2 for $1. I couldn't keep those fuckers living.
Yeah.
Bottom gets filled with shit, marbles. The kid throws shit in there. You see a sandwich floating. I said, I got to get rid of this fucking thing. I can't take it anymore.
How'd we go from Angel Medina to fish?
No, I was thinking about shit that just absolutely kills me, and I can't deal with it anymore. And it was on that list.
I've got a
And
15-gallon.
those cocksuckers that buy cars for their wives for Christmas. That'll never cease to bust my
It all
balls.
comes back full circle.
Yeah.
That's right.
There's somebody that needs to get their ass kicked for that one.
Well, Sal, some of these guys have to get to work tomorrow, so we're gonna have to.
So what is that guy? So why did you call me then if these guys got paper routes in the morning? I don't understand. Who's got to get you? You guys waited till fucking 11:30 to call me. Whose fault is that?
Sorry.
You were talking to what? The lettering guy?
Yeah, Richard
Yeah.
Starkings.
Starkings?
Yeah. Yep.
What's his name?
Richard
Yeah.
Starkings. Yeah.
It's him and Todd Klein. That's it. It's just those two.
Oh, come on. There's
No,
more than that.
seriously, those are the two guys that win all the. That every year they're winning the Eisners. Those two fucking guys.
What about Chris Iliopoulos?
Chris is a nice guy. Actually, I use one of Chris's guys. The guy who letters Atomica actually was a referral.
Oh, okay.
Dave Sharp from Chris. But, it's always, every year when you look at the Eisners, it's always Todd and Chris. And Todd's actually a really nice guy, Todd Klein.
Yeah.
So it's usually just those two dudes.
Yeah, it's about education, right? People don't want to educate. They want to know the artists and inkers, but nobody wants to know about the letterers.
Yeah, there's a lot of good letterers out there. You just got to, ask around. But usually, they could do it so fast that usually these guys take on as many gigs as they can handle,
Right.
you know?
Right.
But Alex always uses Todd, so.
Cool.
Although on this latest KC thing, he didn't use Todd, he used another guy. You guys like that at all, or no?
No, I think
the Superman special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
dug it.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was- he was-
I liked it.
I think you're going to be working a lot next year because I think Alex is going to be in demand. I mean, he's been putting out so much product. People are going to want to,
Well, that was something that was something he's been talking about trying for a long time, where he was just going to pencil something and have him color it digitally, because he saw kind of what Simone was doing a little bit, and he thought, hey, maybe I can get something out a little faster. And he had a little bit of problems with it at first, but otherwise he was happy the way it turned out. He was just, I was just curious how it sold. I heard it sold really well, but I was just curious what you guys thought.
It sold well. It's getting great reviews both for the story and for exactly what you're talking about. People are I don't think they're missing a beat with not being fully painted or anything.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to see, because, I'll show you the originals. The originals are amazing because they're just literally inked black and white, and then the guy went in. Then he left the backgrounds and stuff that's further away in pencil.
Right.
And then the guy went in and he colored everything digitally, so.
No, I thought it worked. It definitely worked. Mm-hmm. And you know what? It also feels comic booky. It brings it back to the comic. It doesn't need to be special, like Justice was special because that was a whole different thing. But this is it makes it feel organic and sort of real.
It's part of a story.
He seemed happy with it. I talked to him a little bit about it when it came out because I was curious. I saw the finished product, but I didn't see the originals yet, and I was curious as to how much of it was, because when Alex says, I'm going to try to not paint it, I know he's kind of, he was concerned about how the colors were going to work out over his inks, but I thought it looked fine. He wrote it too, so he was a little concerned about how it was going to be received. So I said, no, I thought it turned out good.
It actually got some people to say, if this means we can get more Alex Ross product out there because of it, then by all means, please do it. So.
Yeah, but then he'll hear about the one guy, on the internet that hates him, and then he'll be like, nah, I heard they didn't like it. I'm like, that's one guy.
Yeah,
There's always somebody that hates everybody, no matter who you are.
Right, that's usually Pants. So.
In our circle.
Are you Pants?
No.
Simone is like that. Simone lives on those forum sections, man. If one guy talks shit about him, Simone literally wants to meet the guy to beat his ass. Oh, I'm not kidding. He's like, are you going to be in New York? Come and see me in New York, and blah, blah, blah. And they threaten each other. And I'm like, what are you doing? Probably like a 15-year-old girl. Cut it out. Stop it.
Is he on Facebook?
Thank God, no. He doesn't know how to do that stuff, and I'm not going to tell him how to do it because then he'll be bothering me. He's got Skype now. He's always nagging me. You could call me for free. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to call you for free. So you could pay me, and I don't want to talk to you. So it's like, no, I don't want to talk on Skype. With the headset and all the bullshit. It's like, leave me alone. Not bothering me. I don't want to talk. Yeah, it's like I talk to him like once a week. That's enough.
Yeah.
It's the let's just talk about Simone the whole fucking time.
Well, we hate to make you have to go back.
I know. You guys got to go to work, and you're sick of my shit. I understand.
You have construction workers to fight with.
I got, trust me, guys. I'm gonna take pictures and send you what this shit looks like in front of my house, and then maybe you'll feel sorry for me. And we got the fucking Bears, so I don't know which is worse.
Well, they beat the Eagles.
Yeah. Trust me, the Bears are going no place fast, man. They suck out loud. They suck on hot ice. They're that fucking bad.
I don't know what that means.
They're bad. Jesus Christ. But you guys looked really good, and then you play like shit, and then you look good, and then you didn't you bench what's his name, and then the next game you guys look great. So I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
I don't either. It makes picking them very hard for my picks.
Yeah.
And then there's a huge thing against the Steelers in your part of the world, right?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's that's what I had heard. That it's like there's two sides, and it's like there's absolutely nothing in the middle.
It's
we
the Cowboys.
City
Yeah, we
Eagles
save our
and the
hatred for
Steelers.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Cowboys.
Yeah. I definitely dislike Cowboys.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
with us, it's Green Bay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't fucking stand Green Bay. Oh, God. It's like one of those, please, guys, cut it out. When people brag about Green Bay, I'm like, stop it. Get a hold of yourselves. You know? Give me a fucking break. It's like guys that like still don't wear shoes live up north for Green Bay. I'm not fucking kidding. So when I hear them bitch about, the Bears and all that, I'm like, oh, guys, stop it. Cut it out. just really bad arguments. You're just like, oh, stop it, will you please? Will you fucking cut it out? But you guys, I heard it's just as bad with the Eagles and the Steelers.
No, it's not really. There's kind of some love for the Steelers because they're the other Pennsylvania team, so they
Yeah.
kind of feel like this.
But you got the Phillies now. You guys never brought up the Phillies, or you don't give a shit about the Phillies.
Oh, are you kidding
we
me?
give lots
That
of
was-
shit.
I don't know. I mean, I thought it was great. I was rooting for the Phillies all the way because
That
the
was
fucking
great.
Cubs shit the bed to the power of 10. It was beyond bad. So once the Cubs were out of it, and I'm not bullshitting you, I was rooting for the Phillies because I like the National League. I'm not an American League guy. I thought it was great. But you guys still fucking cry that the Phillies never win. You guys have won World Series since the Cubs have won. You won, I remember, in the 80s when you had,
1980.
Sure.
Yeah, you won when you had, what's-his-face, and,
Mike Schmidt.
Tug McGraw.
Great pitcher. Mitch Williams, was it?
No.
No,
he
he-
lost
he-
it for
he
us
lost
in
it,
'93.
Oh, you're right. The guy before that, the relief pitcher.
Tug McGraw.
Tug McGraw.
Yeah, that's right, Tug McGraw. And I'm like, what are these guys fucking crying about? You had those great blue uniforms. I love those fucking
Powder
uniforms.
blue?
They were
Powder
awesome.
blue,
That's one of the
yeah.
throwback jerseys I bought was that powder blue uniform. It's awesome.
Nice.
And you guys, and I'm like, the Phillies, they cry like they never fucking win. You guys have won. Come on. And you guys have had great teams. The Cubs, forget about it. It's fucking embarrassing. I mean, it's like, come on.
I pull for the Cubs every year, and every year I get disappointed.
Oh, trust me, guys. It's the only thing you can honestly put a bet on now. You will go your entire life and never see the Cubs win a World Series.
Oh.
I swear it'll never happen. It'll never fucking happen. I kid you not.
I didn't think Boston would win, and there they did.
Yeah, but Boston's different. Boston, they try. They got an organization that spends a lot of dough, and they go after it, and they got all those fucking Matt Damon crybabies. They had to finally give them something to shut the fuck up.
I still don't
God,
like them.
shut the fuck up already. Because they got the Celtics and the Patriots. I mean, come on, what are they crying about?
Yeah.
The curse and the babe and all that bullshit. They were in the World Series how many times in the last 50 years? At least half dozen. The fucking Cubs are playing golf every year at the end of August.
At the end of August.
Every fucking year. I mean, it's like they're nowhere to be seen. And everybody's like, oh, but the curse, and they sold Babe Ruth, and all that fucking Boston Beantown bullshit. It's like, you guys ain't kidding anybody with that shit. The Celtics won how many championships? And the Patriots, thank God, are starting to lose now.
Right there
I'm
with
so
you.
sick of those fucking Patriots. It's like, goodbye. See you later.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
Peter's
guys.
like, I have no
I
idea.
vented.
Once you start
I told you about
talking,
the guys. I told you about the guys at the streets. I can't believe it. They have tormented me for the last fucking 4 months. All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Sal.
Thanks for
Always-
coming.
Sal.
Always a pleasure.
can't wait to see you again and hear
Yeah,
from you
keep in
again.
touch. I never hear from you fucking guys anymore.
Oh, come
Shoot
on.
me an email. Let me know what's going on.
You're a world class traveler. How can we get?
Yeah, right. I escape once a year. I sneak out. Like a crate of fruit and shit. I just put myself in there with some artwork and I go to Italy.
We'll keep-
That's it for me this year. Other than that, I'll see you guys at New York. God willing, boy. I hope we don't have a snowstorm.
Oh, don't jinx
say
it.
that.
Don't
Yeah,
jinx
don't jinx
it.
it.
No, I mean, I know with New York, they'll get it straightened away. I mean, we'll still have a show, hell or high water, but
Sure.
I'll tell you, no. But now nobody's going out west? Nobody's going out to WonderCon?
No, not this
No,
year.
actually, that's the same weekend, I believe, as MegaCon.
Yeah,
We're going
in
to
Florida.
Florida.
Okay. And then I saw that Emerald Con started advertising a little bit.
Yeah.
out in Seattle. I did that a few years ago. A good show, just I don't know. And then we start the usual bullshit. I'm gonna really, really try to go to WonderCon. It was a really, really nice show last year, and they're good people. But I gotta see. I don't know.
Well, you let us know so we can pimp you.
We'll make sure.
Mocha for sure. Although Peter, I talked to them, and they're actually moving Mocha this year.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, they're turning that building into condos, the Puck building.
Oh.
Yeah, so I told the guy, I go, you got to be fucking kidding me, because it's such a great location.
Yeah.
And he claims that they're going to keep it a hotel or whatever, but they just can't use it this year because they're going to be renovating. So it's going to be in New York, but they don't know where yet.
That's going to be interesting to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm near Hell or High Water. I love that show.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite shows of the year.
Yeah, I wasn't able to make it this year, but that's a great show.
Yeah, same story though. 150 degrees out every year for Mocha.
Well, last year, yeah. I mean, this year,
Yeah. It was really hot. But okay, gentlemen.
Okay, have a great night.
Yep. Thanks for
Always
talking.
nice to talk to you guys. Thanks for putting up with my bullshit. So,
You bet.
No, not at all.
it's me and the lettering guy on the same show. How's that going to come together?
Oh no, two different episodes.
Oh, it's two different. I was going to say that'd be a nice change of gears. You know, one minute you're talking about fonts, and next minute you're talking about cornholing and Agent Medina. You know?
Oh my goodness!
It's a nice segue. You know, Boston salads from fonts and all that other bullshit.
No,
Sound effects. You know.
we're keeping it separate.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
All right, guys.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good
Stay
night.
out of trouble, man.
You
You
bet.
too.
Talk to you soon.
Have a good Christmas.
Thanks.
You too.
Thank you. You too.
All right, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh,
Wow.
good stuff.
That's always
That
great.
is, man.
I haven't been in on one of these episodes in a long time. So.
Oh, they're fun.
Yeah, last time it was me, you, and Jamie.
Oh yes.
Last time was that infamous SuperCon
Yes,
story
with
with the
Buzz.
mountain and when he said Buzz as Moose Cholak and all that. I listened to that episode about 20 times. I loved that. It was so brilliant. But man, you get him going about the kid and the construction workers. Oh, so funny. So, all right, we need to get out of here.
Yeah, we need to go.
You suckers need to work. I need to go stay up and
Do stuff.
watch my YouTube booty short videos.
Are you staying over here tonight? Am I taking
No,
you to work?
I'm going
Okay.
another day. I got some more to crank out.
All right.
I don't know. What that means.
This episode was brought to you by Library Binding, where you can take your own comics and ship them off to them and turn them into a nice custom one-of-a-kind hardcover. Prices starting at only $15. It's a real deal, and you can't beat it anywhere. Go to librarybinding.com. You won't be disappointed. If you'd like to send us an email, it's comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. Visit our website at comicgeekspeak.com. To leave us a voicemail, the number is 215-279-8839. To be part of the greatest community of comic fans ever, go to thecomicforums.com. And we'd like to give a big thanks to everyone who has donated to the show. We really appreciate it, and we couldn't do the show without you. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.